Today I wanted to film a video talking about my UWC experience. I've filmed a lot of traveling videos, but even though that was a really big highlight of my 2 years, traveling was not the main point about UWC. So today I wanted to share a little bit more of what I've done and give you a better picture of just my whole experience. I'll be playing some videos in the background so you guys understand and know what I'm talking about. And I'm outside, so there might be some background noises. We can just get started. I think that's it. So I found out about UWC because there's a UWC here in Costa Rica and I live in the same town. So I was friends with a bunch of the students at UWC Costa Rica, and I started applying when I was around 16. It was a really long application process. It took around a year to complete. We had to write essays, we had to go to a camp, we had to do interviews, Skype interviews, and we had to wait for emails, which was the hardest part. I think most national committees, because we apply through our national committees, so most national committees decide to not let students choose where they want to go. So we just go where we end up. I ended up getting selected to UWC Maastricht. UWC Maastricht is in Maastricht, the Netherlands. It's down south of the Netherlands, so it's nowhere near any of the big cities like Amsterdam or Rotterdam or anything. Although it does have some good history. It's a really safe, university, student-oriented town. It's not a really big city. We had like the public library and a bunch of cafes where we could go study at. There were weekend markets. There was a lake that was maybe 30 minutes biking away from the city center in which we went to chill. And there were also a bunch of other little parks throughout Maastricht that we went to. We had everything we needed: gyms, grocery stores, fast food restaurants, pizza if you wanted. And there's a really big international community there because there's a couple universities as well as the UWC. Even though everybody in the Netherlands speaks English, I decided to learn Dutch. I could interact with the locals more. I mean, I'm not fluent, but I'm still learning. And Maastricht is very central in Europe, which facilitated a lot of traveling. It was very economic and very easy to travel anywhere. Campus itself was in a very good location. It was around a 10-minute bike ride away from the Maastricht city center. However, we had an Albert Heijn nearby, which is the Dutch grocery store. We had McDonald's, a cafe there, and there was some sports fields where there were soccer and hockey fields, as well as like Olympic swimming pools. Campus is like a little island. We have a moat surrounding it, and so there's a little pathway that we could walk around or run around. Because we were in the Netherlands, we all had bikes. We could ride anywhere we wanted at any time. Check-in was at 10 p.m. on weekdays and at like 12 on weekends. So we did have a lot of freedom. I think a lot of us use that to the best advantage. In terms of school, it was a pretty unique UWC school because there was a primary school as well as a secondary school and the IB diploma program students. There were around 200 residential students taking the IB and around 150 day students taking the IB, if I'm not wrong. The day students either lived in Belgium or the Netherlands or Germany, because Belgium is like 10 minutes away, Germany is like 20 minutes away. Many of them were international as well, mainly from all over Europe. The academic part of UWC is extremely important. IB was really challenging, especially in the UWC where we have so much to do. I took English, Spanish, economics, math, physics, and environmental studies, and it was tough for me. I had some really awesome teachers, and campus in Maastricht had a really nice study environment. So my studying experience was actually pretty cool because we had desks in our room. We had a study room, which on my floor was really nice. We also had the school. We could go at any time. Even though the IB program is very academically rigorous, it's one of the benefits of UWC, I believe, because a lot of universities do highly regard IB students, especially coming from UWC. We do receive a lot of scholarships for universities in the States. Since we were in Maastricht, there were a lot of students that were European, and a lot of them ended up going to the UK or the Netherlands or over Europe in general. Living in UWC Maastricht was a whole thing. We had 3 residential buildings and 24 people on each floor, 6 rooms and 4 people in each room. Every 2 rooms shared a bathroom, which had 2 showers, a toilet, and 2 sinks. The rooms were quite big, and even though there were 4 people in a room, we had our own closets, we had our own desk space. Because we have roommates, because we have floor mates, we did a lot of activities together. We had a lot of bonding moments. On the floor, we had a bunch of culture nights, which was one of my favorite things because in UWC, like 99% of the school is international. So everybody on the floor is from a different country, and so every culture night was different. We learned so much about the world and culture. We got to try different foods and a lot of different flavors, and I thought living on a floor and having roommates was really fun. We also had house parents or residence mentors that lived on the same floor, so every floor had the floor for students, and then on the same floor there was like an apartment for the residence mentors. They invited us for dinner or brunch every once in a while. I think my house parents had a good dynamic with us because they weren't overly involved and they were there whenever we needed something. I guess the downside of living in a residential community anywhere can be the lack of cleanliness, the lack of privacy, and if you have problems with your roommates, then you're kind of stuck with them for the rest of the year. But if you make a nice environment, then it's all gonna go absolutely fine. Another downside that is kind of personal to everyone could be the food, because food is being made for 200 people every single day for every single meal, so it's not going to be the most tasty. However, Mensa or the school cafeteria did really try, and the first year it was a lot worse than the second year. In my first year, I had a Chinese roommate that loved to cook, and she would feed me some of her delicious goods, so I was very lucky to have her.